Isang paalala, ang susunod na kabanata ay naglalaman ng mga salita at pahayag na maaaring magdulot ng takot, pangamba at pagkabahala sa mga nakikinig, lalo na sa mas nakababatang gulang. Huwag magpatuloy kung kinakailangan.
Welcome to episode 301. Ako po si Earl, ang inyong campmaster. At ito ang San Telmo Society segment ng Philippine Campfire Stories. Ang San Telmo Society ay listener story segment ng ating show kung saan babasahin ko ang mga kwento mula mismo sa ating mga tagapakinig. Do you remember Larson from episode 191 and 158? He's one of the listeners of the show based in Canada na nag-share ng mga kwento niya from his days in the Philippines as a kid and even noong nagpunta na siya sa Canada with his family. Naalala ko pa din yung kwento niya na may nakatayong entity sa harapan niya one time na nagising siya sa apartment nila sa Canada. If you want to listen to his previous episodes, go ahead and check that out. For today's episode, nagbabalik si Larson to share about his stay in a hospital back when he was a kid in the 90s. Pakinggan natin ang kwento niya.
Hey Earl and campers, Larson here. Tagal na rin since nag-share ko ng story. I have a hospital story for you guys. Nung nakatira pa ako sa Pilipinas, every now and then, nasa hospital ako. Sakitin ako dati. And at this time, I was living in Cagayan de Oro City, and I got admitted to a private hospital. It was my first time being in that hospital. I was the only one doon sa room na yun. So wala akong ibang kasama, mom ko lang. So just to give you a picture, there's the bed, there's a couch and a bench dun sa room na yun. We have a TV, pero that TV, if I remember correctly, wala kami napapanood masyado. I'm not sure if it was just basic cable, pero for the most part, nung na-admit ako dun, nakapatay lang ang TV. So I was probably admitted for more than a week. It probably lasted 2 to 3 weeks sa hospital na yun. The weird things started happening nung first day ko pa lang dun sa room na yun. The door is always open sa kwarto na yun para lang makalabas-pasok ang nurses anytime they have to. And then sa TV, the TV is situated in a corner of that room na makikita mo yung reflection ng labas ng kwarto. So, makikita mo sa TV yung door and yung hallway. So, while I was lying down in my bed, walang doctors and nurses na nag-check na sa akin. My mom was with me, pero nasa couch lang siya. May narinig akong tumatakbo sa labas. And then, nakikita ko sa TV na may isang bata na tumatakbo. Now, nakapaa lang siya. If you can picture yung tunog ng paa na medyo mabigat, pero tumatakbo sa tile floor, that was what I was hearing. And then I saw that there was this kid younger than me at that time, and I was in 5th grade, I think, or 6th grade. And then, nakita ko na naka-short siya, t-shirt lang, walang tsinelas or sapatos. Tapos, parang bunot yung hairstyle niya. So I can see this kid running around back and forth. Siguro naka-anim na beses siguro. Basta marami. I remember na narinig ko siya lagi. Tapos, all of a sudden, hindi ko na narinig na tumatakbo. When I looked into the reflection sa TV, nakita ko na nakatayo na lang siya dun sa pintuan ng kwarto. So, sinabihan ko yung mom ko na you might wanna check on that kid. Nasa labas siya. Baka kailangan na ng doctor or, hinahanap niya siguro yung magulang niya. I don't know. And then, My mom went over, checked, walang tao. Sabi niya. Sabi ko, no, kitang-kita ko, ayan siya, tingnan mo sa TV. Kasi kung saan ako nakahiga, hindi ko nakikita agad yung labas. Kaharap ko would be the window of that room. And then, imagine mo na lang na nasa left side ko yung door, pero my hallway papasok. So, and andun yung banyo. So, I can't really see anyone until siguro 3 or 5 more steps. Then, makikita ko yung door. Pero, my mom said again, wala ako nakikita. And then, when I look back the second time sa TV, parang wala na nga. Siguro, sabi ko baka umalis na siya. May kinausap na siguro siyang magulang or nurse whatsoever. And then, probably a day or two after, natutulog na kami ng gabi nun, all of a sudden nagka-brownout. And as we know sa Pilipinas, hindi to uncommon na magka-brownout. But it was a little bit unnerving na nasa hospital kami at that time. Kasi walang ilaw mismo sa room namin, pero there are lights outside sa my hallway. So at least may light na pumapasok. And then we're probably in the 5th floor or 4th floor in that building. So may ilaw sa labas sa bintana, pero I mean street lights, but it's not as bright, knowing na ang taas din namin. So anyway, we tried sleeping again, and brownout probably lasted hours. I didn't have a watch or phone at that time, so I wouldn't know. Pero it felt like hours. Naalala ko kasi mainit, walang air conditioning sa time na yun, during the blackout. Tapos, nagising ako ulit kasi merong nakalagay dun sa paanan ko. Now, if you can picture my bed, merong wooden footboard sa paanan. And akala ko may bag lang nalagay ang mom ko dun, may hulog sa paanan ko. And then, when I looked over my mom, she was still lying on a couch, natutulog. And I can't fully make out this thing that's on my bed. So, nakakumot pa ako nun. And then I tried to move my feet. I'm trying to sit up. And then, all of a sudden, may naramdaman akong kumapit sa paa ko. Doon ako biglang napa-atras. All the way to the headboard ng kama ko. Hindi ako napasigaw. Kasi, at that time, I was just thinking, baka, nahulog lang to, whatever this is. Until my eyes adjusted to the darkness of the room, nakita ko na meron na palang nakakapit na kamay sa paanan ko, sa paa ko. And then nakita ko rin na parang kalahati ng katawan niya ang nasa bed ko. And then when I look closer, nakita ko na yung haircut ng bata na nakita ko sa labas. And nandun lang siya sa paanan ko. And so at that time, ginising ko na yung mom ko. Nagulat ako and napasigaw ako. Nagising yung mom ko. And wala kami nakita. Tapos sinasabihan ko na yung mom ko na every time na matutulog ako, starting that night, tabihan na lang niya ako sa bed. Kasi natatakot na talaga ako nun. I think that's when my habit of putting my feet under the blanket started. Kasi sa nangyaring experience na yun. And so, a few days passed, wala akong weird na naramdaman dun until one night again. Nagising ako kasi parang may naririnig akong faint na whisper. And then, nung nagising na ako, nakita ko yung mom ko, nakatulog siya ulit dun sa couch. Siguro umalis na siya sa bed nung nakita niya akong nakatulog na. Pero paglingon ko sa right side ko, wall lang siya, sa may tabi ng bed. paglingon ko sa right side ko, nandun ulit yung bata. No. If you can picture this, nakasandal siya sa wall. Nakaupo siya, knees to his chest. And then, parang nakahug siya dun sa knees niya. And then, I now can make out a face. And nakita ko na mukha lang talaga siyang tao. Pero there was something eerie about it na it didn't feel normal at all. Na nandun na siya sa tabi ko. And then, he was the one whispering na sabi niya, dirira ka. So, ibig sabihin nun, dito ka lang, sabi niya. And at that time, I was frozen in fear. Kasi listening has not moved on. Nandyan pa rin siya. How many days na akong doon sa hospital na yun, and it's still showing up. And so at that time, tinawag ko ulit yung mom ko. Lumapit yung mom ko. Wala nangyari ulit. Nawala ulit yung bata sa tabi ko. And I was telling my mom already na may nakikita ako. May nakikita akong bata. It's the same kid sa labas. Nandito ulit siya. Ayaw na akong layuan, sabi ko. And I've heard, even at that time, I've heard stories about yung mga bata ang ginagamit na parang entity to take someone, to the afterlife. I've heard about those stories even at that time. So that's when my fear kind of jumped to a different level. Kasi akala ko, mamamatay na ako. And I think that was just a legit fear. Kasi, bakit ako lang nakakita nito? And it's getting closer and closer every time. And so, the time na re-release na ako sa hospital, may certain point na naiwan ako sa kwarto ko. And then I think my mom had to go downstairs to pay or go to the nurse's station. And nandun lang ako sa kwarto. Wala yung nurse, walang doctor doon. I was sitting on my bed, no IV anymore, feeling a little bit better now. And then all of a sudden, napatingin ako dun sa isang corner naman ng room. And then nakita ko na lang na nandun ulit yung bata. Pero this time, yung paa niya nasa ceiling. So imagine mo nakatayo siya pero nakataob. Na yung paa niya nakaapak lang sa ceiling. And he was facing that corner, not looking at me. Napatayo ako nun. And I was frozen in fear ulit. I was trying to scream pero walang lumalabas. And then narinig ko na ulit na sabi ng bata, dirira ka. Pero at this time, parang malungkot. Naalala ko na it stayed with me, that final phrase that he said. Kasi parang malungkot siya. Parang ganun, na parang, dito ka lang. Pero malungkot siya. Perfect timing. My mom and the nurse came in. May dala na silang wheelchair to take me out of the room. And I told my mom about that again, na nakita ko siya. Nandun ulit sa kwarto. Pero this time, hindi na siya nagpakita ng mukha. And nakaharap lang siya dun sa corner. And that was really the major experience I had in there. And then, I haven't really told you guys kung ano yung mukha niya. Pero, katawan niya bata, pero disfigured yung mukha niya. Malaking mga mata. A little bit more grotesque yung shape ng mukha niya. And now, again, I'm remembering this, pero maybe it was also just my imagination dahil sa takot ko nun and ganun yung nakita ko na mukha. But that entity showed multiple times while I was still staying in that room. And unfortunately, my mom couldn't see what I was seeing then. But that's my story for now. I still have a lot of stories to share in the future. Pero salamat sa pakikinig. And yeah, have a good one.
I always love getting recorded stories because I love listening to your voices and mas nadadama mo kasi yung kwento kapag galing mismo sa nakaranas ng kwento, especially if the story is well narrated. And fortunately, Larsen is a gifted storyteller. Sobrang captured yung vibe nung 1990s Cagayan de Oro City Hospital na na-imagine ko talaga na andun ako sa story. The small details like yung reflection ng bata sa hospital TV, yung brownout, yung init ng brownout, yung bowl cut ng buhok ng bata. These things make the story richer for some reason. Pero at the core of it, ang pinaka natatakot ako was the whisper of Tiriraka nung bata. The second time he saw it. More than the third time when he saw the kid feet up to the ceiling. Kasi sabi niya, medyo malungkot na yung downloaded na feeling niya nung bata. Was he intentionally keeping Larsen in the hospital? Or was he just glad that there was another kid in the room? Ano sa tingin niyo? Share your answers sa Spotify comment section so we can discuss it together. Thank you, Larsen. Why don't we take a break before we read some comments from Spotify? Sounds good? See you after the ad. Sa pagbabalik ng Philippine Campfire Stories. And we're here at the favorite segment of the show, actually my favorite segment of the show, which is the comments, camper shoutouts. Ayan, magbabasa tayo ng mga comments sa Spotify section. Ayan. I'm pulling up the app right now. Uy, bagong-bago. Kaka-ano lang niya. Kaka-comment lang niya. My Ways Clues, as in like 1 minute ago. Sa episode 299. Sobrang tuwa ako sa mga kwento ni Ante. Sobrang vivid. Same kami with photographic memories. Lalo kapag sobrang memorable ng mga pangyayari. Great stories. Nakakakilabot. Oh, nice. That was from the episode Monsters and Haunted Houses. Ayan yung kila Justine na episode. Yung throwback episode natin. Oh, by the way, kaya pala ako nag-throwback episode last 2 episodes kasi gusto kong i-highlight yung mga kwento na hindi na. Kasi usually nagkakaroon tayo ng ng best of. Yan. Kasi sobrang dami yung episode. Sobrang dami nating kwento this past year. So parang sabi ko, shit, parang hindi ko kayang maglista kung alin talaga yung the best of the best. Lalo na nagkaroon tayo ng mga San Telmo Society na live. Ang dami ring mga maliliit na mga kwento doon na sobra ring nakakatakot. So parang sabi ko, pili na lang ako ng mga yung gusto ko from the previous years. So yun. Kayo, anong mga favorite nyo from 2025? Baka pwede yung kayo na yung mag-compile for me and then ko siya. Ilalabas ko siya as a special year-ender. Moving on sa episode 299, si Khalil. Sabi niya, I like Lynn's story and makes me envy her. Not the scare experience, but the feeling na may almost 6 kang kapatid. Nowadays, it's almost impossible to raise that kind of family. And sa way niyang magsalita, it screams it was a really memorable childhood. Minus yung mga naglalakad sa taas or mga aninong sumusulpot, syempre. Yeah. Tama. Yun din yung Yun din yung ramdaman ko nung kausap ko siya. Nung napakinggan ko yung kwento niya. Parang ang sarap naman nun. Parang ang laking pamilya, ang saya. Ang dami mo sigurong kausap, ganyan. So, especially kung medyo nakakaangat naman sa buhay, no? Or hindi kapos. Yun. Maganda yun. Lagi. Dark E, sabi niya, Re-upload ba ito? Parang narinig ko na tong first story. Episode 298, Chilling Stories from the Past. Yes po, it's a throwback story. Rewind kumbaga. Replay. Flor de Liza Nalia. Sabi niya, grabe bitin. Episode 296. Ayan. Oo nga, bitin nga yung story na yun. Yung kay Jem ba yun? Okay lang. Feeling ko naman maririnig tayo ni Jem at baka itutuloy niya yung kwento. Or baka sinundan niya yung pagtuloy. Hindi ko palang nabasa. Derek L. Sabi niya, nako, CM, you're a gift to the world. No need to be validated to feel valued. Keep on shining with your stories. Okay lang naman po mag-English sa stories. There should always stay a safe space to share stories kahit anong lengguwahe. If issue ay hindi makaintindi, pwede naman mag-aral ng English. Thank you for... Actually, you just validated me. Thank you so much, Derek. Ako para sa akin, kapag talagang may mga nagsasabi na yun, mga di nila feel yung pag kunwari nag-English ka or English yung binasa mo na story, parang okay, it's just part of content creation. Parang meron talaga mga bagay na hindi aayon sa ibang mga tao, which is okay lang. Franco Lim. Suking-suki na tong si Franco. Hello, Campmaster. Shout out kay Kayla. Shout out Kayla. Okay. Iggy, Angel, Baldo, and Majesty. Ang cute naman pangalan, Majesty. Thank you, Franco. Shout out sa mga friends mo. Yumi, ang tagal magkwento ni Ante. Episode 299. O nga okay lang yun. Di ba pag matagal magkwento, ibig sabihin parang nawiwili siyang mag-share. Samantha Sanchez Lim, sabi niya, gagi, legit pala yung mga sashing sa episode nila Anton and Manila. Opo, legit po yun. Wala pong edit yun. Walang dagdag na sound effects. Talaga pong merong yung parang sumusot-sot sa amin na parang huwag tigil niyo yan. Tigil niyo yung kwento na yan. Huwag niyong ilabas yan. Tsaka nga, di ba nagkasakit pa si Anton. Shinare niya yun nagkasakit pa siya nung kinuwento niya. Rally Ranger, episode 298. Imagine ko, CM, paano kung nagsampalan kayo ng doppelganger? Yung pinakamalakas. Alam mo, baka manalo yung doppelganger. Kasi I'm a pacifist. Non-confrontational po ako. So, kapag may umaway sa akin, baka umiyak lang ako sa gilid. Hindi ako lalaban. Hey! January. CM, magsasend na talaga ako ng kwento, promise. Episode 297 yun. January na next month. So, kung nag-send ka na, thank you. Aabutan natin yan kasi madalas na maglabas ng episode. Pero kung hindi pa, may pagkakataon ka pa. Josh, sabi niya, first of all, sound effects. First of all, pag sinabing first of all, parang nai-imagine ko yung dog show divas. First of all, si McCoy Dubs. First of all, sound effects that you have creatively done. Yung boses ng doppelganger na Tito Roddy. Yun yung pinaka nakakatakot. Even though this was a rewind episode, the way you narrate these makes the stories always feel new, CM. Oh, thank you. Yes, kasi kapag naman naglabas tayo, ayoko nang parang nilabas lang na parang as in kung ano yung material na nailabas before. Yun pa din yun. Kasi parang dinaya ko naman kayo. So parang kahit paano nire-rehash ko yung para kahit replay. Kasi di ba naman, sanay naman tayo sa replay. Minsan may mga bagay naman na hindi talaga na ilalabas ng brand spanking new. So, minsan kung may replay, okay lang. Basta yung pagkaka-replay, parang maganda, tasteful. Yan. Siyempre, din ako consumer din ako ng content. So, I try to deliver what I wanted to hear from the content that I consume. Hopefully, nakukuha niyo yan. Trish, I love your podcast and this is the most confusing one so far. Ito ay galing sa episode 120, yung story kay Mara sa Belgian Malinois. Hindi ka nag-iisa, Trish. Maraming na gulo, pero kasi that's just how the storyteller is. Parang marami siyang thoughts. So, minsan hindi mo ma-streamline. So, medyo fault ko yun kasi ako yung host ng show na. Hanggang ngayon naman. Bakit ko sinabing noon? JN Asenio, sabi niya, pa-update po kailan kinarma or nasira ang buhay nung creep na yun. Ito yung kay episode 297. Oo nga. Yung sa Legazpi City. Angelo De Leones, hey CM, I've been listening to the podcast a lot recently and it's been really entertaining. Only downside is now that I get scared of driving alone at night. Thank you so much for listening, and you're not alone. I'm actually keeping you company, diba? Ako din, minsan natatakot din ako. There was one time na naglabas ako ng episode. And then, ako kasi pag naglabas ako ng episode, nakakalimutan ko na yung kwento. Kasi syempre, ako yung nagbasa. So, parang meron akong separate personality kapag nagbabasa ako ng episode. Kasi I don't want this to be part of, my everyday life. Anyway, I don't know what I'm saying. Basta, one time, naglabas ako ng episode, tapos nailabas na siya sa Spotify. Nagdadrive ako sa isang parang canyon. So, parang gubat-gubat siya. Tapos gabi na. Kasi ginabi ako eh. So, dumadaan ako doon. Madilim na. So, gubat-gubat. Ganyan. Tapos sabi ko, ay, bagong episode. Bagong episode. Gulat pa ako, no? So, pinakinggan ko. Tapos, sabi ko, ano ba ito? Nakakatakot naman yung pinagkakwento ko. So, pinalitan ko na lang ng music. Ginawa kong Tyla. Is it wrong? Wow. Okay, hindi ko na gagawin yan. Yun na lang ginawa ko. Kasi natakot din ako sa sarili ko. Kaya, naintindihan kita, Angelo. Pero, hindi ka mag-isa. Kasi may kasama ka ng multo. Joke lang. John Lloyd daw, sabi niya, listening at 3 a.m. Grabe yung sound effects ng shutting of the doors. Paano kung sabihin sa'yo yung walang shutting door SFX yun at meron talagang nagsasara ng pinto mo at 3 a.m. John Lloyd daw. Joke lang kayo naman. Real P, yan, yes CM, goals achieved, graduated this year and passed the board exam. Sana work na next. Real P, congratulations, pakiramdam ko ako ang tatay mo at napag-graduate kita dahil sa achievement mo na yan. Sobrang proud ako para sa'yo. As in, sobra. Tuwing nag-message ka kasi sa akin, parang feeling ko, nakikinig ka talaga ng podcast and somehow na nakakatulong sa, pag-concentrate mo or kahit sa pag-escape mo lang from reviewing dun sa course mo. So, parang kahit paano, masaya ako bilang pinapakinggan mo lang na content creator. So, good job. Congratulations. Celebrate mo yan. Yung big win mo na yan. So, tutuwa kaming lahat para sa'yo. Ano pa? Yun na lang yata yung hindi ko nabasa. Yes, yun na nga lang. Wala na. Nabasa ko na lahat. Anyway, kung meron ako hindi nabasa, pwede kang magpahabol sa Spotify comment section. Let me know. And babasahin natin yan sa susunod. Ay, hindi. Sorry. Meron pa si Kay na nakalimutan kong basahin. Nawala. Sabi niya ay nurse na daw siya. Ayun. CM, nurse na po ako. Thanks for being my pahinga. Pero ba't naman bitin si Jem? Maraming salamat, Kay. At congratulations, Nurse Kay. Earn those dollars. Go ahead. Enjoy it. Anyway, yun lang yung mga Spotify comment section. Kung meron pang mga gustong sumali sa shoutout natin, camper shoutout, just comment on Spotify and I will read that on future episodes. Dito na po nagtatapos ang ating kwento. Ang sipag nating mag-upload, diba? So, baka naman. Meron tayong Gcash. Nandyan yan sa episode show notes. Meron din tayong PayPal para sa mga taong nasa ibang bansa. Walang takas. Ayan, so send your love and appreciation or kahit nga small note lang. Nakakakilig na yun. Pwede rin ka magpunta sa Patreon page. Just go to patreon.com/campfirestoriesph. YouTube and TikTok are also available. Or better yet, pagkatapos ng episode na to, share mo sa isang kaopisina, kaibigan, or kahit sinong magkakagusto ng gantong topic para magkaroon kami ng marami pang pagkakataon na makaabot ng mga tao. So, yun lang yung tulong na libre at very minimal effort. At kung may kwento ka naman at gusto mong pag-usapan yan, send mo sa campfirestoriesph@gmail.com at babasahin natin yan sa mga susunod na San Telmo Society episodes. Muli, maraming salamat sa inyong pakikinig. Magkita tayong muli sa susunod na kwento. Ako si Earl. At ito, ang San Telmo Society segment ng Philippine Campfire Stories.